Monday, April 21st, here on the Just Baseball Show. That's Aram Layden. I am Peter Apple. And Aram, get those fingers ready because it is the weekend roundup where we go through every series, every game that was over the past weekend, giving you the breakdown of how each game unfolded, as well as our takeaways. But it is all brought to us by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Remember, folks, use promo code JustBaseball on BetMGM to get that first bet offer up to $1,500. All you got to do, download the BetMGM Sportsbook on iOS or Android and use promo code JustBaseball. Place your first bet of at least $10, and if it loses, you'll get it all back in bonus bets up to $1,500. But remember, terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 years or older. Gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Arm, let's pull back the curtain. Let's talk about my mistake before we even start the episode. Aram sent me the series that he was going to round up on. And what did I do? I copy and paste it, but for whatever reason, my dumb, slow brain on a Sunday accidentally copy and pasted and just did two of your series. So we got our wires crossed and it was completely on me. So before we even recorded, had to write down the last series, but we're ready to go now. And my mistake is gone, but a couple more mistakes probably when I mispronounce some names.
Well, and the great part is if you get lost in the middle of a recap, I got mine ready to go too, so I can pinch hit with my recap. So we've got double recaps, but it happens. We got a lot of series to go over and a lot of action, a lot of runs across the board, I would say, especially in a couple of the series that we're going to talk about here. But yeah, it's. I would say we're getting to the rhythm here. I was going to joke that like, okay, we're getting to midseason form, and then we crossed our wires here. But I do think this is going to have some good flow and pace to it.
You also don't have to say we when it's me. I appreciate that as my friend, but we did get our wires crossed. I just crossed everybody's wires and threw a whole wrench in this thing. So let me try to redeem myself with this first four-game series between the Mets and the Cardinals. Game one, Mets win 4-1. All the Mets runs came in the second inning, highlighted by Mark Vientos' first home run of the season. The only Cardinals run came in the third on a Brendan Donovan RBI single. Griffin Canning just keeps shoving. 6 innings, 1 earned, only 3 hits allowed, 8 punch-outs. His ERA is down to 3.43. Griffin Canning, Dave Stearns, that pitching lab is working. Game 2, Mets win 5-4. Cardinals got out to an early 2-0 lead through 4 on RBI singles from Pedro Pages and Jordan Walker, but then the Mets tied it up in the 5th on RBIs from Tyrone Taylor and Juan Soto. Then the Cardinals retake the lead in the 6th, but Mark Vientos stays hot with his second home run of the season to tie it. Then Luis Torrens then retakes the lead for the Mets with an RBI double, but Brendan Donovan then hit a clutch home run to tie it back up, but Francisco Lindor says goodnight with a walk-off home run in the 9th. Mets win, and then they win again in Game 3, 3-0. The Mets offense came with their two big boys, Juan Soto and Pete Alonso. Soto opened the scoring with an RBI single, and then Pete Alonso roped a double to score Soto, and then followed that up with his 6th home run of the year in the 8th. Kodai Senga on a TikTok took his under 4.5 hits. I said, this guy is an ace as long as he stays healthy, and he did it, and then some. Great again. 5 2/3, 3 hits, no earned. His ERA is down to 0.79. But I also want to shout out Matthew Liberatore. 6 innings, 2 earned, 6 strikeouts. Looked great in that start. He has a 1.86 FIP. That is the 4th best mark among all starters in Major League Baseball. So the Cardinals got swept, but at least Matthew Liberatore, you can go away with that cool stat. In game four, Mets win 7-4. It's just more Mets. Francisco Lindor starts the scoring with his 3rd home run of the season. Then Soto and Alonso follow suit with RBIs in the 3rd and the 5th to give the Mets a 3-0 lead. But the Cardinals tie it up in the 7th, highlighted by Thomas Saggese 2-run double. It was a tie game for about 10 seconds, though, as the Mets answer in the bottom of the 7th with a Brandon Nimmo RBI single, and then Tyrone Taylor and Juan Soto just pile on more runs. Clay Holmes, 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned, 6 strikeouts. Mets sweep move to 15-7. Cardinals fall to 9-13. Aram, Mets starters ERA, they rank number 1 in baseball, and the bullpen ranks 3rd in ERA, even though Edwin Diaz is rocking an ERA over 5. I was low on the Mets coming into the season. I thought to myself, no way this collection of arms ends up being an above average rotation. Egg on my face, Arm. They're the best rotation in baseball.
Clay Holmes is settling in too, man. Like 6 innings for him, a 1 run ball. They look good, and Sprout starting to get going in AAA. He's throwing strikes more now, adjusting to the different ball. And Nolan McLean looks like one of the best pitchers right now at the AA level. So they may have reinforcements coming as well. What's funny to me, and one big takeaway, and it kind of extends to the end of last series as well. But the last 4 games for Brett Beatty, as Jeff McNeil's about to get activated, he's finally coming to life a little bit. 5 hits, 2 doubles, 2 walks. I don't know if that's going to be enough to fend like an option off, but it is just kind of funny to me that right as McNeil is about to come back, where it was just a no doubt or you got to just move on from Beatty, now he's showing signs of life. Like, I'm interested to see what the Mets do there, but I don't think they're too worried about it because the team's starting to look really good across the board. Other thing, how can you be such an accomplished Major League Baseball player like Pete Alonso is and not know how to run? That video of him running into third on the triple, who runs like that? He really is like baseball's Forrest Gump. Not just because of the running form, just because he's so goofy.
He is so goofy, but man, he's playing angry. And maybe that resulted in the way that he was running. He looked like he was running angry, right? He gets a little bit gypped in the free agency market and he has to go back to the Mets. Not has to, but it did kind of feel like he
Yeah,
had to in a
yeah.
way. And now look at him go. I mean, I heard you that Fink and Jack were talking about Soto's comments. First of all, I didn't really get to speak on it, but I'll make it quick. Soto wasn't lying. He was given the question and he answered it perfectly. Yes, it's different from hitting in front of Aaron Judge versus hitting in front of Pete Alonso. That makes sense. But that's it. And then the New York Post, that headline, I thought it was such bullshit.
They
The
just
way they
love
just
it, dude.
dragged him.
It's so stupid.
It was so bad. And I think Fink said it perfectly. Like nobody in the Mets locker room raised an eye.
No one cares. And like it's that's the other thing too. We react to what players are saying, not realizing how they're being teed up left and right, especially in New York media. Like especially with that. Like that's why I didn't think too much of like the quotes about Sandy as well. Like they were asked, like, would you? Of course they're going to say, yeah, I'd love to have him on my team, but like, why are you asking that question?
Yeah.
But so it goes with New York media, especially when you have a player going from the Yankees to the Mets. They're just salivating at the idea of just any stupid ass headline they can run with. The other thing that was cool though, good quote, Pete Alonso saying it's like the most locked in since he's been at his draft year at UF.
Love
Like
that.
that's scary.
Yeah.
That's scary because baseball was a joke to him that year. And remember, he has a year where he hit 52 bombs. Like
Yeah.
so that wasn't. He's more locked in than that. Like I'm interested to see what that looks like for the course of the season.
Mets are dangerous. Let's stay in New York, but actually, we're going to go to Tampa for the Yankees taking on the Rays. Another 4-game series. Game 1 was on Thursday. Yankees win 6-3. The Rays and the Yankees trade runs in the first and second before Junior Caminero gives the Rays a 3-1 lead in the third, his 5th home run of the season. But then the Yankees tie it up in the 5th, highlighted by Oswaldo Cabrera's first home run of the season. And then they take the lead in the 6th on RBIs from Jason Dominguez and Ben Rice, and that was it. But Will Warren, pitcher for the Yankees, did not get out of the second inning, raising his ERA to 5.17. My Cy Young narratives for Will Warren have officially not started yet, so you can't blame any of the early starts. Taj Bradley also allowed 6 runs in 5 1/3. We move to game 2. Yankees win 1-0, and the only run scored in the game was a Trent Grisham RBI single in the second inning because Carlos Rodon was awesome. 6 innings, 2 hits, 0 earned. He did walk 4, but he punched out 9. And Drew Rasmussen just keeps shoving. 5 2/3, 1 earned, 7 Ks. His ERA is at 0.87. This guy is nails for the Rays, but you can't win a game when you don't score a run. And the Rays scored plenty of runs in game 3. They win 10-8 in 10 innings. The Yankees scored 2 in the top of the first, but the highlight of the inning, I thought, was Jose Caballero's through the legs double play. It ended up actually scoring a run on that, but awesome double play. Trent Grisham, him pushed the Yankees lead to 3-0 in the second inning with his 5th home run of this season. Both teams went back and forth, and then the Yankees extended their lead to 8-4 in the top of the ninth with 2 runs, and they felt good, handing it off to closer, Devin Williams. And this is how it went. Ground out, 64-mile-an-hour single, but really, Oswaldo Cabrera sailed it. It should have been an error. Then Devin Williams allows a walk. Then Chandler Simpson's first career hit, a ground rule double. Then a 73.1 mile an hour single. Then an 80.9 mile an hour single. And then a double play to end it. And yes, the Rays scored 4 doing all of that. And then in the bottom of the 10th, Jonathan Aranda hits his 4th home run of the season to win it. Before we talk about Devin Williams, and I'm sure you have other takeaways, let's finish game 4 because it was easy. Yankees win 4-0. Trent Grisham starts the scoring with his 6th home run of the year. He had 9 in 76 games last year. He now has 6 in his first 20. Cody Bellinger added an RBI groundout in his 2nd home run of the season. And then Austin Wells with the cherry on top, home run in the 9th, his 4th of the year. Now, Max Fried had a no-hitter going through 6. Paul Goldschmidt boots a ball from Chandler Simpson. Tough call to make, but they call it an error. As Fried is getting ready to go out for the 8th, the scorekeeper changed it to a hit, calling it very apparent. And it was right. It was right after they blew the home run call on Judge, calling that one foul. I want to talk about both of these things. Yankees win the series and move to 14-8. Rays fall to 9-13. I want to get the quick one out of the way. Devin Williams clearly has struggled. Yankee fans all over social media, get him out of the closer role. Put Luke Weaver in. I'm going to push the brakes a little bit on that one. He's off to a little bit of a rough start. He did say in a post-game presser, he said that, maybe we're throwing the changeup a little bit too much. He'll work on it. He'll be fine. It's early. He's with a new team. This guy has been one of the best closers in baseball now for the last half decade. Give him a second to get going. He'll be fine. And obviously that inning, as I illustrated and everybody watched, lots of dinks and dunks. Doesn't take anything away from the Rays, just more goes to show that in a small sample, anything can happen. Devin Williams is still good. Don't worry.
Yeah, I mean, it's a ridiculous idea. Like, that's going to make the adjustment even more difficult for a guy. Like, you want to stifle a dude's confidence, take the closer role away from him a couple weeks into a new team. It just doesn't make any sense. But it was a lot of fluky stuff there in that inning. And I know he hasn't been great, but he's Devin freaking Williams. And take your time. If the Yankees were really struggling out of the gate, sure. But the Yankees are playing well. They're above 500 comfortably. I don't think it's a big deal. The funny thing on Chandler Simpson, maybe somebody can confirm or deny this, but I'm 98% sure here that Chandler Simpson as a professional has never hit a ground rule double. And of course, like game 1 or 2 of his career, he hits a ground rule double. It's just baseball. But I thought that was kind of interesting. And it's just fun to see him up. We were just talking about on the call up. I wasn't expecting to see him up this quick. He adds a really dynamic aspect to this team to the degree that scorekeepers don't even really know what to do. Because that was when they overturned it, that was a Chandler Simpson ground ball, right?
It was a Chandler Simpson ground ball to Paul Goldschmidt in the 6th inning. And when watching it, I could understand if they called it a hit immediately, right? He is flying down the line.
He's there.
But when you watch it, right, it's a ground ball to first base that Paul Goldschmidt obviously boots.
Yes.
Any other player, clear error. But Chandler Simpson is running like a cheetah down the line. So I could understand if you want to give him the hit there. Here was my issue. And Rays fans are calling me a homer on Twitter. Spare me, please. What I said was, if you're going to call it very apparent, as the scorekeeper did, why did it take you 2 innings to change it? That's my thought. I know. Fair. And Max Fried gave up the hit later, but we all know that a guy is pitching with a no-hitter. He's going to be a little bit more careful than when he has a 3-4 run lead and is just going out there and it doesn't really matter anyway. So I don't want to hear that. My issue was the term apparent.
Oh, very.
That's what I was about to finish with. Very apparent. That means that it was obvious.
Yeah.
It wasn't clearly in the moment, and yet you changed it later. That's my issue. I thought it was bullshit.
Yeah, that is a weird.
I understand calling it a hit because it's Chandler Simpson. Do it in the moment. Don't change it 2 innings later when the guy is coming back out to the field and figures out, all right, I lost my no-hitter, I guess.
Yeah, and also when it's like an obvious boot like that, I think it's just an easier to like just stick with the call. But also just the explanation's kind of bullshit. If you explained it as, okay, we looked back at it and Simpson was so close to the bag that he probably would have been safe. Like that's a better explanation than very apparent. Because again, if it was very apparent, yeah, you wouldn't have to look at it again. It's going to be really interesting though because I don't know. Yes, Billy Hamilton's there too, but I think Simpson's just as fast down to first base, and he's going to put the ball in play a lot more consistently. He's going to kind of shake up how we view like scorekeeping and things like that too, because there's going to be a lot of errors made on balls that Chandler Simpson hits because infielders feel so rushed. Like
Yep.
the second you see the ball off of his bat, the first thing you're thinking as an infielder's, fuck, I got to get this thing out. So you're going to boot it. And how often are we going to say, oh, well, he would have been there? Or he still booted it right away. So would he have been there? I don't know. Is it going to be one of those things where just like every single time a guy boots it, he would have been saved, so we give him the hit? Like, is there a line? Like, do we need to define where he's going to be? Like, when guys boot it, it's going to be one of the more difficult things I think scorekeepers are going to have to do is like figure out if it was a hit or not for Chandler Simpson. Because for most other guys, like if infielder boots it, it's an error because they would have been out. Not for Simpson. He's beating out routine ground balls. We haven't really seen that.
I'm glad you mentioned that because after the game had settled and my anger kind of cooled down because I didn't want it to overshadow Max Fried's incredible outing. I mean, Garrett Cole goes down. He's the ace now. That's a big time outing. Like, he's just been so good with the Yankees so far. But what I was thinking about is, like, let's say Chandler Simpson's career goes better than we could have even hoped, right? He does become the Luis Arias with speed, and he finishes his 18-year career with 2,500 hits. Let's just pretend. I feel like we could go back and be like 500 of those were changed from errors to hits later on. Like he might lead Major League history in changed hits based on what you were saying.
Yeah, because you're going to look back at it and you're going to say, oh, well, yeah, he booted it, but Simpson was 2 steps away from first. So, like, it's going to happen a lot.
And that's the problem is like that's an error for everyone else in Major League Baseball. Maybe not Bobby Witt Jr., but like probably still.
Yep. And it's also like forced errors because like I think Goldschmidt booted that because he knew how freaking fast Chandler Simpson was. Like, so there is something to be said and like a credit to be given there. The other takeaway, I'm pretty sure Jonathan Aranda was concussed. Like, I don't know actually, but it looked like it when he's got to be the first player ever to like look like he got his bell completely wrong and then hit a walk-off in the same game. Like, I thought that guy would be seeing stars. That, by the way, he is awesome. He has not stopped. And it has been really, really cool to see. That must have been a weird series considering that it's the Yankees home, it's spring training home and all that good stuff. But I don't know. It's a cool spectacle there to a degree as well. That's a fun series anytime the Yankees and Rays get together. You can always count on, I think, just some really interesting games.
Before we move on to the next series, I remember that you wanted to do maybe your last word on Steinbrenner Field. Do you want to save it for the end or just go?
I'm going to save it for the end because I have some interesting like thoughts on the whole situation there.
Perfect. Let's move over to Dodgers versus Rangers. Game 1, Dodgers win 3-0. Tommy Edman opens the scoring with his 7th home run of the season. You heard that correctly. Tommy Edman is hitting 7 home runs already. The only other runs came in the 9th on RBIs from Teoscar Hernandez and Will Smith, but DeGrom was DeGrom again. Great to see. 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned, 7 strikeouts. But Yoshinobu Yamamoto is proving why the Dodgers gave him $325 million. 7-inning shutout with 10 punch-outs against the Rangers through his first 5 starts, 0.93 ERA in 29 innings with 38 strikeouts and only 7 walks. So my question to you, Aram, is do you think that he wins the Cy Young over the current odds leader that is Paul Skeens?
I mean, I struggle so hard to bet against Paul Skeens because you just know he's gonna kick it into gear in the second half and just go nuts. And I also think there's a level of like him wanting to eat innings too now after being somewhat eased into last year. I know Skeens had the 1 bad start, the 5 earned, and I know it hasn't been perfect for him so far. But that almost makes me like buy into it more. I'm like, I'd almost rather him get it out of the way now. And it's funny, it's like we're not even talking about Skeens as much right now. He has a 2.87. He has a 2.09 FIP. He's allowed 1 home run this season that came in the last start. I'm still rolling with Skeens almost no matter what. But I hear it, and like to be honest, if you look at the numbers since really that blow up start, like you could argue that Yamamoto's the biggest threat to Skeens to win that Cy Young with the way he's throwing now and the way the whole arsenal is working and how healthy he looks after being banged up last year.
And obviously, it's super early, but Hunter Green did have a really rough start, which again, we will recap. So, right now, it's a two-man race between Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Paul freaking Skeens. Let's move over to game two. Rangers win 4-3. Kyle Higashioka broke the scoring open with his first home run of the year, but Freddie Freeman answers right back in the fourth with his fourth home run of the season. Then Max Muncy gave the Dodgers the lead in that same inning, but the game wasn't over yet. Adolis Garcia walks up to the plate with a runner on second and crushed a home run off Kirby Yates to give the Rangers the win. Roki Sasaki, velo down. He doesn't seem to care.
No.
6 innings, 2 hits, 2 earned, 4 Ks. ERA is down to 3.20, and Nathan Eovaldi just did Nathan Eovaldi shit. 6 innings, 2 earned, 7 Ks. ERA down to 2.64. Game 3, Dodgers win 1-0, and the only run was on a sac fly from Freddie Freeman in the 8th. Kind of scary, kind of not, thankfully. Tyler Glasnow threw 4 shutout innings, but then was lifted in the 5th with cramps in both calves.
Yeah.
Baby in our diet tweeted out that he drank fluids and is fine now. That's good to hear. And then the game ended on a Wyatt Langford getting thrown out at second trying to steal. Personally, I think they should have called him safe. I get it, though. On the field, they called him out. But it looked to me like he got that foot back down on the bag before the tag. But that's not really the big story here. I think arguably the biggest story from this series is Tyler Mahle shoving.
Dude, what the fuck?
7 innings, 2 hits, 0 earned, 4 Ks. He leads Major League Baseball in ERA at 0.68 through 26 and 2/3. Now the Dodgers win the series and move to 16-7. Rangers fall to 13-9. But Tyler fucking Mahle, Aram.
We've been harsh because it's like you can't bank on getting something out of a guy who has not thrown more than 30 innings since 2022. But I think the reality is like it really hit me now that it's just this poor guy just hasn't been healthy. When he was healthy, he was a really good pitcher, right? Like in Cincinnati. And think about it. He was pitching in Cincinnati. We saw this guy pitch to a mid threes and in 180 innings, or at least to a high threes in the year where he threw 180. But we've seen this guy be really good. He just hasn't been healthy. So maybe this is a healthy Tyler Mahle. Is he maybe getting a little bit lucky here and there? Sure. But he's also been fantastic, and he looks like he's kind of back to himself a bit. So hopefully this can continue because he's one of those pieces there where it's like, if this goes right, the Rangers can win the World Series. Jack Leiter is about to come back, but he looks like another one of those. If this goes right, they can win the World Series. And then you're going to talk about DeGrom. He finally looks like DeGrom again. So the things that you want to see going right for the Rangers have been going right so far.
Absolutely. I want to talk about Roki Sasaki here for a second because I more just want to talk out thoughts because I don't have any takes. I'm just confused.
Yeah.
His fastball velocity dropped 2 miles an hour in his last start. He was averaging 94.7 miles an hour, and he threw a couple at 92.
Yeah.
Right? He maxed out at 97 miles an hour. I mean, the splitter is obviously really good. The slider, though, was even down almost a mile and a half of velocity, and he turned in arguably his best start. I just don't know what to do with him because here's what I recognized. I recognized that the fastball has to be in the upper 90s, even touching 100, for it to be effective over a long stretch of time because the shape of it isn't necessarily all that great. I know that he is an 80 grade splitter or forkball, call it whatever the hell you want. Guys aren't touching it. I get that. But you can't just have one 80 grade pitch when your slider is maybe a little bit above average. And yet, in this start where all of his stuff is down against a Rangers offense, best start of the season. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
It helps that he was throwing strikes.
Still,
23 of the 30 fastballs were strikes. That helped. But,
yeah.
There were 10 batted balls off his fastball and 8 were 95 plus. So it was a little bit of a tightrope act. Like he walked 3, struck out 4. I think the strikes are encouraging, but I would still be a little bit concerned about the velo dip. Like I don't know if that was him trying to fill up the zone more, but if it was, it did work in the respect that he was filling up the zone more. It does help then that splitter work and be a little bit more effective as a chase pitch, which it was. Uh, and look, it shows that at least when he's locating, he can even get by not getting a ton of whiffs. But I don't know, when you're giving up 8 of 10 batted balls, 95 plus on the fastball, like I think more often than not, that's going to result in runs. And I look at like there was a 390-foot fly out to Corey Seager, some things like that. So, yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily what you want to see, but at least if the velo's down, and you see him throwing more strikes, that's somewhat encouraging. But you definitely don't want to see the velo down like that. It was a little bit weird.
Yeah. Let's move over to A's versus Brewers. Game one, Brewers win 5-3. Yelich gets the Brewers offense going with an RBI single in the first, RBI single in the fifth, and then drives home a run in the seventh with an RBI ground out. And of course, William Contreras and Jackson Chorio added RBIs as well. Brent Rooker and Tyler Soderstrom drove in a run apiece in the ninth, but it just wasn't enough. And Freddie Peralta, talk about a tightrope act. 5 innings, 7 hits, 0 earned, 5 Ks. His ERA falls to 1.91. Let's move over to game two. More great pitching. A's win 3-1. Brewers and A's trade runs in the third and the fifth inning before Brent Rooker hits his 6th home run of the season to take the lead. And then Shea Langeliers gave the A's an insurance run in the ninth with his 5th home run of the year. Chad Patrick stays hot. 7 hits allowed, which, is not ideal, but only 2 runs through 6 innings with 7 punch-outs. ERA is down to 2.11 for the Brewers rookie, but this was the Luis Severino show. 8 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned. ERA is down to 3.31. He, similarly to Pete Alonso, is pitching angry. And I can't get enough of some Luis Severino starts right now. He looks awesome.
Not really what we expected. I thought maybe he takes that contract and rides off into the sunset, right? But I think when you see this team swinging it the way they're swinging it, and you see the young excitement around them, like I think it's firing up Severino as well too. He didn't just sign with a bad team and get his bag. Like he signed with a young, up and coming, exciting team that is going to give him run support, and I think that's helped. Like even in the games where he's not great, gives up 5 earned against the Padres. Still gave him 7 innings. So that's what's really refreshing and fun to see is like he's going deep into ball games and he's giving them chances to win. But then he doesn't even need to rack up crazy amount of strikeouts. To go 8 innings of 1-run ball and only striking out 1. That was just really, really impressive. He's huge for this team. Like you can really start to buy into the A's hanging around in the wild card conversation, or what, at least hanging around 500 if Luis Severino's throwing like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move to game 3, where this was the best Brewers performance of the season. They won 14-1. How about Logan Henderson? I talked about him. Remember we were talking about some of the call-ups, and I was like, hey, what's this guy doing in AAA right now with a 40% K rate? And he flashed electric stuff. 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned, 9 punch-outs. The Brewers stole 9 bases, and every single starter had a hit outside of Caleb Durbin. 7 of the 9 bats in the lineup had 2 hits or more. Rhys Hoskins hit his 3rd home run of the year. He went 3 for 5 with 4 RBIs, and they just annihilated Jeffrey Springs. 6 runs, although only 4 of them were earned in less than 3 innings. I mean, that's a great pitcher that they just shelled. Now, shout out Seth Brown, though. He did hit a home run to score the lone A's run. Brewers win the series and improve to 12-10. A's fall to 10-12.
I mean, I was just surprised to see that A's like top of the lineup just get dismantled. Like Butler 0 for 3, Rooker 0 for 4, Soderstrom 0 for 3, Langeliers 0 for 3, Blade 0 for 3. And I think that really is a testament to one, Logan Henderson, and then Tyler Alexander on the piggyback. And it couldn't have been 2 more different pitchers, right? Where you're getting what makes Logan Henderson so tough is fastball with crazy vert from a low release. And then you just get a funky, soft throwing lefty off of that. Like that's just a night with heavy sink, like nightmare. And it worked out perfectly. And that's how the Brewers are going to do this thing. And I mean, you couldn't have asked for much more from Henderson, because the big thing when we talked about it, you're like, could we see him up soon? I was like, he's going to need to cut down the walks. It was only a 14-inning sample, but he walked 17% of batters in AAA Nashville through his first 3 starts. He walks 1 in 6 innings in this one. That's where baseball is just so hard to predict, and that's what makes it so fun. But I mean, what a debut for Henderson and for the Brewers. I mean, a team that just made an aggressive move for Quinn Priester. You got to love this internal upgrade here in the rotation to be able to get something like that out of Henderson. See if he can follow it up.
You don't miss Aaron Savali?
No, no. I'd rather roll the dice here with Henderson.
Brewers starters in this series combined for 17 innings. 12 plus 5 is 17 innings. Yes, I did my
Yes,
math right. 21 strikeouts, only 3 earned runs against this A's offense. That is electric.
that says a lot. That's and like I think they're gonna start getting hotter and hotter. I know
Yeah,
we were talking about like panicking with the pitching, but like they got Mizorowski, they got Yoho, like they've got reinforcements too. Uribe looks like he's kind of back and looks like he can be an option. It's the Brewers, man. It's what they do.
it's the Brewers. That's what they do. Let's move on to the Twins versus the Braves. And the Braves finally look like the Braves in this series. Or was it more the Twins look like the Twins? Let's talk about it. Game one, Braves win 6-4. Twins scored 2 in the second, highlighted by Luke Keeschel's first MLB hit in his first AB, which brought home a run. Twins kept putting it on early, scoring 2 more in the third, highlighted by Trevor Larnach's first home run of the season. But the Braves battle. Jared Kelenic homers in the fifth, and it's 4-1 Twins going into the eighth. Ozzy Albies drives home the first run, and then Michael Harris drives in 2 on an RBI single to tie it, and then Drake Baldwin drives in 2 more on a single to take the lead, and the game was over. Shout out Chris Paddock, though. Only allowed 1 run through 5, but his bullpen blew it for him. Game 2, Braves win 4-3. Luke Keeschel, though, stays hot, opens the scoring with an RBI double, but Matt Olson grabs it back in the bottom of the first with an RBI double. Teams trade runs in the third and fourth, highlighted by Carlos Correa's first home run of the season. Twins take the lead for a moment, but Michael Harris's home run in the sixth ties it, and then Alex freaking Verdugo drives home what proved to be the winning run. Verdugo went 4 for 5 in his second game in Atlanta. He did not have a 4-hit game for the Yankees all season. Chris Sale struck out 8, but struggled again. ERA to 6.17. Not great, but Braves seal it. Win in game 3, 6-2. They came out hot, starting with a Matt Olson home run in the first, Austin Riley RBI single in the second, and then a Drake Baldwin home run in the third, made it 5-0, and then it was basically over. Marcell Ozuna and Byron Buxton traded home runs late, but Braves win again. Grant Holmes dominant, 5 2/3, 4 hits, 1 earned, 7 Ks. Joe Ryan bat again, 6 runs in 5 innings. Braves sweep, move to 8-13. Twins fall to 7-15. There's some storylines here. I know you definitely want to talk about Luke Keeschel, but also with Jared Kelenic not running out that ball late in the last game and then not getting benched, and then Brian Snitker coming out and saying that he didn't even see it in the moment and might have had a different reaction the day after. And then Ronald Acuna Jr. goes on social media and says, if it was me, I would have been pulled out. That's
Then
not
deleted
good.
it.
Then deleted it, which is good, but he shouldn't have
No.
probably have tweeted in the first place, even though I think he might have been right. Snicker comes out and he says, it doesn't matter who it is. He's taken out Acuna before. He's taken out Ozuna before. So Acuna sees that Kelenic didn't bust out of the box, and he says, I mean, is it just me? I
I,
get where Acuna is coming
yeah.
from. And also, Snicker, it's not a great look.
No, it's not.
Braves fans are turning on him on social media, dude.
I mean, it's not a good look.
No.
That for sure. And I struggle to believe that he just missed it. Someone in the dugout would have, I think, alerted him to it, or you'd be wondering why he's not on another base, right? Like that part was weird. That said, like Ronald Acuna, you said, are the Braves back? They are back in the respect that Ronald Acuna Jr. is being a diva again, and he's not even on the field yet. Just how do you make that situation about you? I understand your frustration. Vocalize that internally. Why would you tweet that?
Yeah.
Like it's just Acuna is a really. If I were a Braves fan, I would love him. Obviously, he's so talented, and I mean the adversity that he's had to face also absolutely sucks in terms of his injuries on the field. But man, would he frustrate the hell out of me with the way he goes about his business. Like, how does that make the situation any better? Your team's struggling. Why do you want to do that? Why would you want to create more just headlines and discussion, and you know what's going to happen when you tweet that? Like what was his end game there? Oh yeah, everyone's going to say, "You know what? That's right. Yeah, Ronald, you're right." And then everyone happily ever after? No, of course people are going to be like, "Oh no, like what's going on here? Is Ronald unhappy? Is the clubhouse unhappy? What this team's underperforming? Ronald is complaining. They don't punish Kelnick the same way." Like it doesn't help the situation. And you have to start wondering what's going on in the clubhouse in general because this team's way too talented to be playing this way. But it is a good bounce back series. I'm not going to put too much stock in it because I think the Twins are one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball right now.
Oh
They
yeah.
entered this final game on Sunday hitting 214 as a team, getting on base at a 283 clip. And you lose Pablo Lopez. This team needs to probably just focus on going young. I think Emmanuel Rodriguez should come up soon, but I am really excited that Keyshaw is up there, and I do think that's a guy that gives them something they really need, which is quality at bats, good bat to ball, and some speed. And I think he's going to be a breath of fresh air for Twins fans, and it seems like he already has been in the early going.
You know what the Twins WRC plus was against lefties going into that game against Sale?
No,
13.
13.
Sit with that.
How many games?
87% below league average. I don't know. I don't even
Doesn't
care.
matter.
I don't care. It's 13.
It's more than a game. I know that. Yeah, that's absurd.
That's a disaster. I mean, you're totally right. I'm not even being like, oh, the Braves are back because beat someone else besides the Twins right now. Sorry, Twins
Yeah,
fans. Like, look at the product on the field. It sucks.
and even when they win a series, Kelenic, not hustling, and it's not the first time he's had maturity issues, kicking what was it, a cooler and losing the battle there.
Yeah.
And then you have Acuna on social media as he's like getting closer to coming back, making a stink as well. And now Snicker's got to answer to all of that. Like even when they win, it's a sideshow. It's tough right now.
Was it the worst sweep of all time? Because after it, the Braves fans want Brian Snicker fired, and I'm scrolling Braves Twitter, seeing Ronald Acuna Jr. trade proposals from Braves fans. They're like, "Get him out!" I'm like, "God, you guys just
Braves fans are nuts, and in a great way. Like I love it, but like they that is a dangerous area of Twitter.
they want their team to win so bad, and they will
I
do
respect it.
anything to get there." All right, before we move on to my last couple of series, and then I'll throw it over to Aram, our first break. Guardians versus Pirates. We got another sweep on our hands. Game one, Guardians win 10-7. O'Neal Cruz opens the scoring for the Pirates with a home run, but that lead did not last long as Bo Naylor homered, and then Kyle Manzardo drove in a run on a double to take a 2-1 lead. Then the Guardians would go up to put up 8 runs between the fourth and the seventh inning, highlighted by RBI doubles from Bo Naylor, Jackenzie Noel, and Gabriel Arias. The Pirates battled with home runs from Brian Reynolds and Emmanuel Valdez, but it was too little, too late. I also will say, definitely, Pirates got screwed there at the end as Emmanuel Valdez was tagged out at third.
That was
Called for time after hurting his shoulder. That was a bullshit
that
call.
was bullshit.
Like I'm bitching about the no hitter and all that stuff. This might have been the worst call of the weekend. The guy is hurt, calling for time, clearly hurt his shoulder, and they still call him out. They should have gone to replay. That was bullshit.
Yeah, that was weird. His one arm was hurt, other
Yeah.
arm's on the bag. He's calling for time with the arm on the bag, like
Yeah.
holding it on there for a few seconds, then calling for time.
Yeah.
And then they tag him while he picks his hand up to call for time. And the third base coach is saying time.
Yeah.
And then I think after the umpire called him out, like tripped over Valdez, who was like laying on the ground hurt. It was bizarre. That was a weird. That was just a weird circumstance there.
I can imagine that TV stores around Pittsburgh are getting a lot of volume right now because I bet a lot of Pirates fans just broke their TV
Bro,
after seeing that. I mean,
I
if
might be the first thing to increase TV values. It's just gonna be everyone breaking theirs.
Pirates fans. And then in game two, if the TV ain't broke now, it probably is broke now. Or I didn't say that correctly. You know what I'm saying. If the TV wasn't broken, now it definitely is. Stephen Kwan opened the scoring with an RBI single, and then Kyle Manzardo launched one into the Allegheny River for his 5th home run of the year. And then J-Ram added a sac fly for good measure. Guardians win 3-0, even on Paul Skeen's bobblehead night. And he gives you 7 innings, 2 earned, but can't win when you don't score a run. But also shout out Ben Lively. There was a reason they didn't score. 5 1/3, 4 hits, no earned 3 Ks. And then the Guardians bullpen just shut out the Pirates behind him. And in game 3, the TV's definitely broken by now, Harv.
I was also going to say the reason they didn't score is Bob nutting, actually. But anyway, continue.
Stephen Kwan opens the scoring in game 3 again with his 4th home run of the season. And by the 9th inning, the score is 4-1 Guardians as Kyle Manzardo went yard again. Pirates come all the way back as Adam Frazier drove in 2 on an RBI double. And then Brian Hayes ties it up with an RBI single. But then the Guardians still win it. And who else but Kyle Manzardo ends it with a sac fly. One thing that I want to talk about. First of all, Guardians sweep moved to 12-9, Pirates fall to 8-15. Here's something slightly concerning. Not really though, it's kind of similar to Devin Williams, just, some early bumps in the road, but damn, Emmanuel Clase,
Yeah.
7.84 ERA, 2.23 whip going into this game. He had already allowed more earned runs than he did last year, and now he's allowed 9 earned runs. He only allowed 5 last year. Watching him, like, it doesn't look all that bad. He's just kind of getting pieced up right now. I'm sure he'll come back down to earth and be the Emmanuel Clase that we know and love, but right now it does look really, really bad.
Has he considered posting his accolades? That might help. It's weird. It is weird. I want to see him succeed because it does kind of tie in from the end of the season last year and the end of the postseason
Yeah.
where we're like this guy's has one of the best reliever seasons ever, and then just really really struggling in the postseason. We talked about that being weird, but maybe he ran out of gas. Okay, it's just a really small sample there. I'm sure he'll come back out this year and look good, and he hasn't. So that narrative will start to build and it builds and it builds. And then all of a sudden, maybe Class A starts to believe it. And like that's where it can become a little bit of a problem. So, I mean, we'll see, but I don't want to sound the alarms yet or anything because he's Emmanuel Class A, but a few more rough outings and it's like, okay, he might need to recalibrate a little bit. And I don't really know what that looks like. I do want to shout out Logan Allen as well, though. Just getting outs, man. What's his ERA down to? 2.11?
Wow.
Yeah, he's getting outs. It's just a crafty lefty.
But here's the thing about the Guardians is I want to heap praise on them. They just swept. They're moving to 12-9, but it's kind of similar to the Braves in that sense. Not that the Braves still need to continue to prove themselves, but I can't give the Guardians that much credit
No,
for
they got to
sweeping
play
the
better ball
Pirates.
than that.
I think they have to play better ball, and the Pirates are horrible. I mean,
Yeah.
we just talked about the Twins. The Pirates might be worse. I mean, they
No,
can't
they
hit,
are.
they can't field. Paul Skeens is the one bright light. I know Andrew Heaney is dominating. That's awesome. We'll see how long that lasts. I can't trust anybody in that bullpen. This is, again, one of the worst teams in Major League
Yeah,
Baseball. So
no
shout
doubt.
out the Guardians. They're playing good baseball, clearly a good team, but you swept what I think is a
Yeah.
bottom of the barrel baseball team.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, the Guardians, if they play that exact way against a lot of other teams, I think they drop 2 out of 3.
I agree.
That's just the reality of it. But you can only play who's in front of you, build on it. And I mean, we know this is still a good baseball team. And Nolan Jones is hitting the piss out of the ball and has nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
Hopefully that starts to convert now soon, too. And I mean, Manzardo, too, was pretty cold going into the series. So hopefully that gets him going, too.
Absolutely. Let's move over to Giants versus Angels. Game 1, Angels win 2-0. The only scoring came on a Zach Neto RBI double. Welcome back, by the way, and a Kyron Paris grounder that Matt Chapman whiffed on, leading to the second run. Tyler Anderson, right? Christopher Sanchez set the pitch tracking record for whiffs on a changeup, and Tyler Anderson basically said, "Want to see me do it again?" 6 innings, 3 hits, 6 strikeouts. His ERA is down to 2.08. Now, Logan Webb was awesome. Punched out 12 through 6 innings, only allowed 1 earned run. But you can't win if your team doesn't score. They scored in game 2, only 3 runs, but that's all they needed as they won 3-2. And all 3 of those runs came in the first 3 innings, highlighted by Matt Chapman's 4th home run of the season. Mike Trout, it was the classic. He hit 2 home runs. They were both solo shots, and they still didn't win, but gives him 8 on the season. Now, Landon Root bounced back. 7 innings, 2 earned, 9 punchouts. But how about the fight from the Angels? Different Angels team this year. They win 5-4. Both teams trade runs in the 5th, highlighted by Zach Neto's first home run of the season, and then Sam Huff gives the Giants the lead on a 2-run home run, his first of the season. Then Willy Adames added an RBI single in the 8th for good measure, likely thinking it's enough insurance to close it out because we got Ryan Walker, one of the best relievers in baseball, and he had a blip that you just don't see. Loads the bases in the 9th, hits Neto to score the Angels' second run. Not Neto got a hit. He literally hit Neto with a pitch, and then freaking Joe Adell brings them all home with the double to win it. Shout out Yusei Kikuchi, pitched well, only allowed 1 run through 5 1/3, and Verlander was awesome. 6
Yeah.
innings, 2 hits, 1 earned, vintage Verlander, striking out Trout in his last AB on 97.4 miles an hour, but the Angels take the series, move to 11-10, Giants fall to 14-8. Arm, I'm telling you, the Angels, they're not a bad team. I'm not here saying, oh, yeah, they're going to win the division. They're great. But I think they're a pretty decent team. I think they finish in the 80 to 82 kind of win range this year.
Definitely a lot more watchable. I'm just upset. Could have been Verlander's 263rd win. I In terms of active win leaders, like no one's going to get close to that. And I don't think anyone's ever going to get close to this number again. I'm always watching, hoping for Verlander to just see how close he can get to 300. Of course, he's not going to get to 300, but this was a really good opportunity to pick up the first win of the year. Unfortunately, didn't. I know no one really cares about wins, but there's like the only guy left where we can actually watch the numbers go up. It's like, oh, his 100th career win. Yay. Don't really care. When it's getting close to 300, that's always cool. Unfortunately, doesn't get the win there, but it was encouraging to see him throw that well. But yeah, I mean, this Angels team is just peskier, and especially with getting Neto back, and that's a huge, huge jolt to them because he does a lot of things that I think they need in terms of just bat to ball, good ABs, picking it up the middle a little bit. They got Christian Moore potentially on the way at some point this year. This team's fun to watch, and just healthy Trout, even if he's hitting below the Mendoza line, I think so far this year, he's running into homers. You know that he's going to start to roll again a little bit more bat to ball wise, but just seeing him on the field, I think has to be galvanizing for this Angels team.
He's turning into prime Chris Davis, right?
That's what I said in the group chat because it is funny. He literally is home run or nothing right now. He has what is it, 14 hits entering Sunday, and 8 of them are homers.
Yep.
Like that's crazy. But I mean, he's still hitting the ball hard. Love to see that. But yeah, hopefully he isn't just settling into prime Chris Davis in this phase of his career. But I think he's just getting his legs back under him. And as long as he's hitting homers, I mean, he's going to keep racking up those numbers too. And I just want to see Trout push towards, those career marks.
So my last series before I hand it off to you features arguably the game of the year. Game of the year. Game 1 of Dbacks Cubs. Cubs win 13-11. And you wouldn't think it was the game of the year until the bottom of the 7th. Carson Kelly homered for the Cubs. That gave them the first 2 runs. And then Corbin Carroll singled for the D-backs, driving in a run. That was it until the 8th, or actually until the 7th. Cubs put up 5 in the 7th, highlighted by an Ian Happ grand slam. D-backs put up 10 runs in the top of the 8th, led by a grand slam from Gino Suarez and a 3-run shot from Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Then we go to the bottom of the 8th. Cubs put up another 6 runs, highlighted by home runs from Carson Kelly again, Kyle Tucker, and Seiya Suzuki. 21 runs were scored in 1.5 innings. Per Sarah Langs, the Cubs became the first team to allow 10 runs in a single inning after the 3rd and still win the game in 113 years. Corbin Burns pitched well. 6 innings, 2 earned. Colin Rea only allowed 1 run through 4 2/3. But, I mean, that was the best 2 innings of baseball I think I've ever seen. It was incredible.
It's the laser show. It's 2 ridiculous offenses, too.
Yeah.
And so it was just seeing these 2 teams match up was a lot of fun going into it. It was one of the series I had circled all week, looking forward to into the weekend. And I mean, it really didn't disappoint all the way through. But I mean, yeah, that had to be one of the more electrifying games of the year. You just 16 runs in 1 inning. It's just ridiculous.
Putting up 10 runs and losing is tough.
That's tough.
1 inning, putting up 11 runs and losing 13-11, that is tough. And remember, the D-backs are doing this without Ketel Marte. We'll move to game 2. Cubs win 6-2. Corbin Carroll opens the scoring again with his 7th home run of the year, but that was the last lead the D-backs had. Cubs answer right back with 2 runs in the first and 4 in the second, highlighted by home runs from Seiya Suzuki and Michael Busch. Shout out Tim Tawa, hit his 2nd home run of the year, but it was too little, too late because Zach Gallen really got roughed up. 6 runs in 6 innings, and Ben Brown was okay, only allowing 1 run, but walked 4 in 4 innings. And then game 3, we got extras, but really low scoring. D-backs win 3-2. Only runs scored in the first 9 innings came on RBI singles from Michael Busch and Josh Naylor, and then Jose Herrera gave the D-backs a 2-1 lead in extras on a bunt that Jordan Wicks picked up and gave Nico Horner a low throw, scooting past, run scores, but then the Cubs get it back. Nico Horner redeems himself, RBI single, and then Josh Naylor in the 11th delivers again with an RBI single. And then did you see him trying to steal home and he got thrown out? Because of course he did. I mean, I know you're stealing a lot of bases this year, Josh Naylor. What are we doing stealing home? Merrill Kelly only allowed 1 run through 5 2/3, but had to leave the game due to a leg cramp. I think he'll be okay. Jameson Tynes solid 1 run through 5 innings, striking out 6. Cubs win the series, improved to 14-10. D-backs fall to 13-9. What is Josh Naylor doing, trying to steal home?
He's fast now.
He
It's
is
just
fast.
he identifies as fast, and like it's sick to watch. Like he's just deciding that he can motor now, and it works, I guess. But that was probably a nice little reality check of like, okay, yeah, you might be grabbing some bags, like you said, but maybe not the spot there. He has been unbelievable offensively though, and when I was going to the games here in Miami, watching the D-backs play, I mean, he's just barreling everything. It's quality at bat after quality at bat. He's walking more than he struck out this year by a comfortable margin. This guy's playing his way into potentially getting a nice little paycheck at the end of this season.
This felt like a playoff series to me. I mean, I think the Cubs are going to win the division. I think they are definitely the best team in the National League Central. Their offense is prolific. I know you lost Justin Steele. You're going to be active at the deadline, going to get a starter. You're going to be active at the deadline, going to get bullpen help. But in the meantime, this offense can lead you. And you tweeted out yourself how deep the Diamondbacks are. Dre Jameson, first appearance since 2023, hucking in 99 miles an hour, looking like the freak athlete that he is. Shout out Dre Jameson for being faster than Corbin Carroll. We all remember that story where apparently Dre Jameson beat Corbin Carroll in a race. They got that guy in the bullpen throwing 99.
Yep. Yeah, and that was a big reason why I was excited about the depth of this D-backs team. You have him, you have Ryan Nelson. Like there's just so many more options. Shelby Miller looks like he's a solid piece. Like that bullpen is easily one of the most underrated, and depending on the puck news and how banged up he is. But like with a healthy puck, that's as good of a bullpen as you're going to have, I think, and it's really really underrated. The difference is you look at the Cubs side, and it's like that's the difference between these two teams is like in the grand scheme. I'm like, can I trust this Cubs bullpen? I don't know, but that offense can bang with anybody. They're third in batting average. I think they're second in OBP and they're first in slugging. They're not striking out. They're walking. The starting pitching has been still solid even
Yeah.
without Steele, but the relief, I think their relief ERA is like second to last in baseball.
Yes.
So that's what the Cubs need to address. There's going to be a lot of slugfest throughout the summer at Wrigley until they address that.
Yes, there will. All right, time for your series.
We'll start with Marlins at Phillies. And Friday was pretty lopsided ball game because Zach Wheeler was just ridiculous. Phillies won 7-2, propelled by Wheeler's performance. He pitched 7 innings, allowing just 2 runs on 5 hits, striking out 13 without issuing a walk. Offensively, Bryce Harper initiated the scoring with a 2-run homer in the first inning. Kyle Schwarber added a solo shot in the fifth. Sandy Alcantara continues to struggle as he tries to shake the rust off coming off of TJ. He surrendered 6 runs over 2 innings. The Marlins' 2 runs came on an Eric Wagaman 2-run homer. The worst part about that whole situation was you have Griffin Conine go down. And that actually will come on Saturday here. And that's the series. This whole series just like put a pit in my stomach. And I'll talk about that a little bit at the end of it. But Saturday, crazy shootout. And this is the one where Griff unfortunately goes down. It was a pretty lopsided game the whole time where Phillies won 11-10. And honestly, I turned it off and I left because like I thought the game was over. Like the Phillies had built a lead out to 11-4 in the seventh inning because Trey Turner had 4 hits, Bryson Stott had 3 hits and 3 RBI. But the Marlins just climbed back into it, especially in the ninth inning, where they scored 6 runs. Dane Myers hit a 3-run shot. Liam Hicks hit a 2-run shot. And despite the rally, they bring in Jose Alvarado out of the bullpen. They said, okay, we let this get too close here. And he shut the door, earning his 5th save and preserving the Phillies win. Quantrill, not good in this one. 3 1/3, 8 hits, 7 earned, 3 walks and no Ks. Taijuan Walker continues to not be great, but like be good enough. 4 innings, 1 hit, 1 run, 3 walks, 2 Ks. He did his job. Devastated for Griff, who dislocated his shoulder going into second base on like a pretty routine slide. He's, as you're listening to this, going to be undergoing imaging, but he's already on the 60-day IL. Probably not great, no matter what. But yeah, I guess they're going to find out the severity on Monday. I'm just gutted for him
Yeah.
because it was on a 112 mile per hour double too. By the way, it was a 98-mile-an-hour fastball from Carlos Hernandez. It just absolutely sucks. I don't know. It was hard for me to even get up and watch baseball today on Sunday. I'll be honest with
Yeah.
you, but it just sucks. That's part of the sport that, man, you just never know. You can do all the right things. You can get yourself in good shape, and sometimes some fluky shit happens. So I'm hoping for good news on Monday for Griff.
I mean, that guy takes care of his body. He gets his start. He's crushing both righties and lefties. Got no problem either side. He's playing good defense. Got a cannon of an arm, and then just, I
Fluke.
mean, it's so shitty.
That
It's
one, I
just,
was nauseous all day Saturday because it's just 6 years in the minors, doesn't get hurt, works his ass off, and finally gets an opportunity in the show, sees things clicking, has the hardest hit ball of the entire year, is just 7 doubles already, and balling out on both sides of the ball. And because he plays hard and plays at 100 miles per hour all the time, head first slide into second, some fluky shit happens, and he's got good spirits. I mean, he's knows that he's just going to crush whatever he has to do on the recovery side of things and whatever. But it was Jack had texted me and said like, it was somber in the Marlins clubhouse, and he felt like that was indicative of kind of how much he meant to the team and being a leader and everything like that. And it was cool to see the Marlins though kind of galvanize it and bounce back and actually win one on Sunday. And
yeah.
they won at 7-5, even though the Phillies early lead 3-0 in the first inning. Bryce Harper, 2-run shot, or excuse me, a 2-run double, but it was a shot off of his bat. And then Nick Castellanos' RBI single made it quickly 3-0. But then the Marlins started to come back after trailing 4-2. They tied the game in the 8th inning with a Javier Sanoja 3-run homer. First of his big league career. He was starting in place of Griffin in left field. Then in the 10th, Kyle Stowers' sacrifice fly and a Sanoja RBI single helped them secure the victory at 7-5. It was a breakout performance for Sanoja, who went 3 for 4 with a career high 5 RBI. He had his first home run of his career, and that home run made it 5-4. And then after it got back even again, to then give them another RBI in the 10th and help secure that win, Marlins avoid the sweep and a 5-game skid and win one with the guy who was leading them, I think, in OBP and in slug being out, for the foreseeable future. So that was a nice performance by Sanoja, and I'm excited for Ronnie Simon, who gets the opportunity now with the Marlins, getting called up from AAA, putting up big numbers. So we'll see how he does with them now. Going to get some pretty good run for the Marlins.
Can't count out those fish. One arm that I do want to talk about that gave up 6 earned when you turned the TV off, Jordan Romano.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Romano's ERA now is 15.26. Now, it's very, very early, but going into that outing, his ERA was 9.00. So it's not such a small sample. Gave up a ton of runs, and that's his ERA. He has not really, he's given them one, two, his 2 clean innings so far this season. Not
Yeah.
ideal.
No, and that's the crazy part. It wasn't like they went to some AAA arm to shut the door because they were up by 7 runs. Like they were getting Romano working, and
Yeah.
Romano went in there and gave up 6 hits and 2 home runs. And the crazy part about that is he said in the post game press conference, like, I honestly felt like I was throwing pretty well. And I appreciate his honesty. He said, like, I executed my pitches the way I wanted to, and I got shelled, and that is definitely concerning.
So I was going to bring that up too. I'm so glad you did because that post game presser almost made me more nervous.
Yeah.
Like,
I respect it and I
I respect it,
appreciate his candor, but like
love the
shit.
honesty. But then you look at, the pitch data and you realize his fastball velocity, even from 2024, 96.4 in 2024 on the 4-seam fastball, 95.2 this year. I mean, this is a guy who was sitting 97.5 in 2021, 97 in 2022, 97 in 2023. It's not a good sign when the stuff is down. You're only a 2-pitch guy. You feel like you're executing and you're getting destroyed by the Marlins. That's not a good sign. So, again, I am curious what Phillies fans think in the YouTube comments below. Like, it's one thing with Emmanuel Clase or Devin Williams, but like this is so bad, it's starting to get to the point where when do you even put him in the game right
Yeah.
now?
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be like in mop up duty and in those types of spots. I don't know how you could put him in other situations. And I know it's early, but I you can't afford to give away games in a division that is going to be pretty solid. You want to take advantage and pull away from the Braves as much as possible and keep pace with the Mets, who look like they're getting hot.
Yeah.
Head over to Baltimore for Reds at Orioles. This was a crazy series as well. The Reds opened the series with an 8-3 win. It was powered by three home runs. Ellie De La Cruz and Matt McClain each delivered 3-run homers, and Heimer Candelario hit a solo shot. They need him to get going. But I think the story beyond that was Andrew Abbott.
Yeah.
Absolutely dominant. Struck out 11, allowing just one run on two hits over 6 innings to secure his second win of the season. The Orioles only had 4 hits. Cedric Mullins did hit a solo home run in the second inning. Heston Kjerstad added a 2-run homer in the eighth. And Cade Povich really struggled for the O's, allowing 7 runs on 6 hits, 5 walks in less than 4 innings. Andrew Abbott this year has thrown 70 changeups. He's picked up 16 whiffs, and he has not allowed a single hit on the pitch. Abbott looks fantastic. Reds at Orioles on Saturday. The Orioles bounce back with a 9-5 win, highlighted by 5 homers. Dude, they're just going deep like crazy, even when they lose. Ramon Laureano, who entered the game for Heston Kjerstad when he exited due to injury, hit 2 home runs and drove in 3 runs. Cedric Mullin and Gunnar Henderson led off the first inning with back-to-back homers, and Jordan Westberg added a solo shot in the seventh. Orioles pitcher Brandon Young made his MLB debut, allowing 3 runs over 4 innings. Sir Anthony Dominguez earned the win in relief, and Felix Bautista secured the save as he looks like he's starting to settle in. For the Reds, Jake Fraley, Austin Hayes homered. Nice to see Hayes back, and he's been pretty good offensively. TJ Friedel went 4 for 4, but first dud of the year from Hunter Green. Shortest outing of the season, gave up 5 runs in 3 innings. It was 3 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs, 2 walks, 4 Ks. Reds bounce right back, though. And holy crap, was Sunday a laser show. Reds win 24-2. I'll spare you all the time. I'll just highlight some of the best offensive performances because it's hilarious who the two best offensive performers. If you told me the Reds won 24-2 and then I had to guess who the best performers were, the two guys that were the best performers would have been my last guesses if I even would have guessed them. Noelvi Marte had a career day going 5 for 7 with 7 RBI. He capped his performance with his first Major League Grand Slam in the 8th inning. That was off of Jorge Mateo. Austin Wynns, batting 9th, went 6 for 7 with a 3-run home run in the 9th inning as well, also off a position player, but he drove in 6 runs. Ellie De La Cruz hit a solo home run to ignite a 7-run third inning. The Reds amassed 25 hits, including 8 extra base hits, and drew 11 walks. Every starter recorded at least 1 hit. It was a Brent Suter start. He allowed 1 earned run over 3 innings, and Taylor Rogers got the win if you care about that. Randy Wynn secured a 3-inning save, his first in the majors. Charlie Morton, brutal. 7 runs and 2 1/3. I'm starting to think that's not a good signing by Mike Elias there, yeah. And Adley Rutschman hit a solo homer if you care about that. Really fun fact. Marte and Wins combined for 11 hits and 13 RBI from the 8th and 9th spots in the lineup. That's the most from those positions in a lineup since 1901. The other interesting milestone, 24 runs were the most scored by the Reds since their 24-12 win over Colorado in May 19th, 1999. If you got to go back to Coors and go back to the last century, some crazy stuff.
Largest margin of victory for the Reds since 1911. We tweeted that out too, and I was like, oh, God. Since 1911. Orioles. Did you guys know that you've allowed 118 runs? That's tied with the Rockies for dead last in Major League Baseball. I'm looking at the standings right now, and I was like, yeesh. They got the second worst starter ERA. They got one of the worst bullpens right now, but mostly it's because of the starting pitching, and the bullpen stats are just kind of because of today. I mean, it went horribly.
The bullpen was good otherwise.
Yeah, the bullpen was good otherwise, but it's the rotation. I mean, every single guy in the rotation outside of Tomoyuki Sagano, but then you look at his underlying metrics and you watch him pitch, he's been walking a tightrope all season. I feel like he's allowing the hardest contact in Major League Baseball, but he's been skating through. The rest of them are not skating through. Shocker, Aram. The Orioles' rotation is not good enough. Shocker.
You're telling me like assembling a rotation of 5 starters doesn't work. Also, Charlie Morton is going to be 42. You paying him what, $13 million? Like, allocate the money elsewhere. Like, there were reports and stuff that like the Orioles' final offer to Corbin Burns was only like a few years. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And then the owner says they got an open book of the checkbook's open. Michael Elias is on fraud watch. That's all I'm going to say. Shigano leads their qualified starters in ERA. He leads qualified pitchers in FIP on the Orioles with 5.53 FIP.
Yeah.
What? Like, that's crazy to me. Absolutely crazy. So it's just rough to watch right now. And I mean, they're only 9-11 because, or 9-12 because they can swing it. But like, dude, it's I don't know. The offense must feel like they got to score 40 runs every game to try to win. It's got to be crazy.
Sagano has a 9% K rate.
I know, and he's like Mr. Reliable. Like, they got a chance every time he's on the mound. I mean, shout out Brian Baker. He's been great out of the bullpen. Anthony Dominguez has been great out of the bullpen. But man, like, a lot of times it's just too late. Like, starting pitching's already given up 10 earned runs at that point.
Going over to the Red side, just real quick, I also tweeted this out. I mean, Ellie De La Cruz is one of the best athletes I've ever seen play Major League Baseball. That catch against Jackson Holiday was from another planet. And then, of course, he follows that up with a home run. He is. The Reds should trade him.
Cut the errors down. That's
see what kind of package they could get for him. Think about it.
They should dangle him.
They should dangle him.
If he just doesn't make as many errors, man, like, you can't poke a hole in his game. And yeah, people love to hate on him. I see people talking about the errors all the time. Like, I get it. He's got to shore that up, but like, shit, just enjoy him. Like, at least it's not like O'Neal Cruz is out here with a floss pick in his mouth, just letting balls roll by him. Like, at least Toledo Cruz is like fun to watch consistently. Like, yeah, he's booting some balls, but it's not for lack of effort.
That has to be from Cubs fans, because like, who's like harping on Ellie De La Cruz's errors as like a reason he's not a great player. He gets to more balls because he's more athletic than everybody on earth. Yeah. Now, I know it is a problem. We all see it, right? Tito Francona was talking about it in a presser. Like, it's not good, but not every player is perfect, and he's going to get to more balls, and he's going to make a few more errors, and then he's going to make sparkling plays and make up for it with some home runs and some steals. So I'm good with it. I'm good with it. Not everybody's perfect.
You can't teach the alien ability to make outs that nobody can make. You can teach the fundamentals and softer hands and just reading hops better. He'll get there.
He'll get there.
Battle of the Sox. Red Sox, White Sox. Sneaky, the White Sox are back to historically bad pace.
I know. Sucks.
10-3 on Friday. Red Sox win. Trevor Story led the offense with 2 3-run homers. I mean, if this guy's really gets going this year, man, does this make this offense scary. So 6 RBI in the game for him. Ceddanne Rafaela and Carlos Narvaez also homer. If those guys are hitting, it's over. Narvaez, that was his first homer in the majors. Hunter Dobbins, he earns the win, pitching 6 innings, allowing 2 runs. Only 1 was earned, 6 strikeouts and no walks. Martin Perez struggled, giving up 4 runs over 3 innings. On Saturday, this was actually a close one. Red Sox win 4-3 in 10 innings. It was a tightly contested one, but Rafael Devers hit a 3-run home run in the 5th inning. That gave the Red Sox a 3-0 lead. The White Sox rallied in the 7th. Chase Maidroff, RBI single, and Luis Roberts' 2-run homer tied the game. But then in the 10th inning, Tristan Casas delivered a walk-off single off the Green Monster to score the winning run, and that picked up another win for the Red Sox. Then on Sunday, White Sox actually edged them out. They end a 6-game losing streak with an 8-4 win. Matt Thaiss, 2-run shot in the 1st inning. Andrew Vaughn added a 2-run shot in the 8th inning. Edgar Caro also had a 2-run single. That was a go-ahead single in the 7th. Brandon Eisert earned his first Major League win in relief. And for the Red Sox, Wilyer Abreu hit a 3-run homer in the 1st inning. But, I mean, the White Sox put up 8 runs. How about that?
How about that? And this is another series where, you want to talk good about the Red Sox. They won a series. Red Sox, can't glaze you that much. First of all, you lost one of the games, and the White Sox, 3 of their wins this year, I think they have 5, are all against the Red Sox. So it's not exactly ideal. And then, he played pretty good, I guess. Garrett Crochet looked good again and
Yeah,
is
six
again
shutty, 7 Ks.
another rematch. He's amazing, clearly. Trevor Story, highest average exit velo since 2021, his last year in Colorado. So he's swinging the bat well. Plate discipline has been kind of out of whack. He's swinging and missing a lot. He's not really walking, but he's hitting the ball hard. And as long as he's in the lineup providing that defense while making consistent hard contact, like you'll take that every day of the week. But the Red Sox, like, still, it's like a good offense. It doesn't really scare me that much. It's a fine bullpen. It was good to see Liam Hendricks come back and make that outing again. Always good to see him back on the mound. That was awesome. But like, I was super high on the Red Sox going into the season, and they're just,
They haven't got it going yet. Like if
yeah,
Jaron Duran hasn't got going, Devers has still kind of been like wishy washy. Tristan Casas hasn't fully got it going. I'm with you. Like they're not doing it yet. They got to do it. But if those guys start heating up, like I think they can be right back to that really scary team. But Crochet, another gem. Didn't have the 13 Ks I predicted.
yeah.
Chase Mydroth, another hit off of Garrett Crochet too. just really really cool storyline there. Obviously them being traded for each other, but several other prospects with Mydroth as well. We'll go to Kansas City.
So
Tigers Royals. Guess who Detroit's offense was led by on Friday? Spencer Torkelson, 2-run double. But also Andy Ibanez hit a solo home run. And how about Jackson Jobe? He gets the win here as the Tigers win 7-3. He only allowed 1 earned run over 5 innings with 5 strikeouts. Most of the offense for Kansas City came from Vinny Pasquantino, who drove in 2 runs. But Cole Reagan's not great from him. 5 runs in just over 4 innings. Jackson Jobe ERA down to 2.70 on the season. All the talk was, oh, why isn't Joe missing bats? Blah, 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 blah. 2.70 ERA for the rookie.
mm,
On Saturday, another low scoring game this time around. Or excuse me, this one was a low scoring game. Tigers have 3, Royals score 1. Guess who had the decisive swing in this one? Spencer Torkelson, 3-run homer in the 5th inning. His 7th of the season. That's all Detroit needed. Casey Mize delivered a strong performance yet again. 7 innings, allowing only 1 earned run on 4 hits. Kansas City's only run came from a Freddie Fermin solo shot in the 7th inning. How about Casey Mize, man? How about this dude? It's been ridiculous to see. And I know Jack's agenda's back, but like I'm just happy for Casey Mize. You just never want to see a guy be on like bust watch like that.
locating the fastball, 90-mile-an-hour splitter, breaking balls are moving. I think the Tigers Nation, I think they're the happiest fans in baseball right now. I'm not saying they're the best team in baseball, but they have to be the happiest. After
Yeah.
you just ran down that roundup, I mean, the number one overall picks: Casey Mize, 2.22 ERA, 0.95 WHIP, 18 punchouts. Spencer Torkelson, he's got 7 home runs and OPS over 1,000. This is what they've been waiting for.
Yep.
They knew about Riley Green, obviously. They knew about Kerry Carpenter. They knew about Tarek Skubal. But what will bring us to true dominance in this division? Our number one picks have to step up. Casey Mize, Spencer Torkelson, those guys have to be the number one overall picks. And damn it, they are.
And that ship had sailed, to be
I
honest. Like at
know.
least with Torque, I was like, no, he's not going to be that guy. At least not there.
Mize
And
has just
he
been
has
hurt and a little bit
yeah.
inconsistent, but you still saw the stuff that, Jack never gave up hope and understandably so. I mean, look at him now. I feel so bad for being down on the Tigers. Like, this
Yeah.
is a take. I have wrong takes all the time. I have good takes. It is what it is. We make a lot of takes on the show, especially me. That one, I'm just like, because Tigers fans won't let me back into the party.
No.
It's like,
At least Guardians fans let you back in.
yeah, well, not really. they Tigers fans fully kicked me out. They won't even. I can't even praise them anymore without being like, well, remember what you said
What did
preseason?
they? It's some of our favorite people though. Like it's the people that listen to the
Yes.
podcast. They every time Max Clark has a 2-hit game, I'm getting tagged and shit because I didn't rank him 10, ranked him 43. I'm getting bombarded. And by the way, he was like 1 for like 16, haven't got tagged in anything Max Clark related in a week or two. I was wondering what was going on there from like Cy Job on X and a couple of the other accounts. I love those guys,
Hi,
but
Job.
hey, I haven't heard from you.
Tigers fans, admit it. All you want is this show to be called Just Tigers and it just be an echo chamber, and all we talk about is about the best parts of the Tigers. Admit it. You don't want
Yeah,
this to be a national show. You want it
no.
to be just Tigers.
And on Sunday they lost. Royals 4, Tigers 3 in 10
Suck
innings.
it.
Royals snap a 6-game losing streak with a 4-3 win. Bobby Witt Jr. hit a tie-breaking sac fly in the 10th to score Drew Waters, the automatic runner. Mark Canha and Drew Waters each collected 2 hits and an RBI, while Vinny Pasquantino contributed another run. Michael Wacha started for Kansas City, allowing 2 runs over 5 1/3 innings, and Carlos Estevez pitched the final 2 innings to secure the win, which was a fun wrinkle in that. Royals improved to 9-14 on the season, while the Tigers fell to 13-9. Go to Colorado.
Wait, before we move on, can we just talk about how the Royals kind of stink?
Yeah, I mean, it's early.
It is early, but the offense looks horrific.
Away, when they're away from home, they're 3-10 away from home.
I mean, they're 29th in OPS as an offense. MJ Melendez just got sent down.
Yeah. I mean, they got would they score 4 runs or 6 runs in 3 games against the Yankees?
When I'm watching this team and I'm like, you're not even average. I mean,
Right
this
now,
is like
no.
a bad team. You know, the Yankees have played plenty of teams so far. I'm like, the Royals might have been our worst opponent. They just stink. Like, they have good pitching. Reagans is awesome. Chris Bubich is awesome. Seth Lugo is solid. Michael Wacha, Michael Lorenzen. I like some of the back end arms. And the pitching's not been the problem. I mean, it's like an average bullpen so far by the numbers. It's a slightly above average
No,
rotation.
pitching's been fine. They're
Offense
10th in
just-
starting pitcher ERA, and they're 15th in reliever ERA.
If Bobby Witt Jr. is not putting up historic numbers as a shortstop, they're a terrible offense. They literally need him to drag them there. And Vinny Pasquantino, I mean, we're waiting.
Yeah, he needs to get going. I mean, so
It's early. It's early.
if you don't count Mark Canha because he's only played 7 games, who do you think has the second highest OPS on the Royals?
Is it my boy Michael?
It's Maikel Garcia with a 739. Do you know who has the 3rd highest OPS on the team?
Is it Massey?
It's Jonathan India.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think it is?
He's been walking a little bit. That helps
Yes, he
his
has.
OPS, right?
Yeah, he has been walking.
I'm going to guess like 690.
603.
Oh,
3rd highest qualified OPS on the team is 603. They have 3 players with an OPS over 600. Yeah, that you need to help Bobby. You need to get Bobby some more help. They're hitting 208 as a team.
I just didn't think that.
308 slug, and you call Kaufman home. Can't happen.
Exactly. Before moving on to the next series, I had to just point that out
Yeah,
because
no,
it
it's
has
worse
been
than I thought, to
abysmal.
be honest.
It's been abysmal watching this offense, and I can't believe it.
It's like the Bugatti and the shitty house meme. Like that's what Bobby Wood is right now.
Yeah.
But hopefully they'll get it going. As I do enjoy watching that team when they're good. And they were good last year. They were a threat in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
Nationals Rockies. We had Friday snowed out, and then we got a doubleheader on Sunday. So we're still waiting for the second game there. I'll give a little update. But Saturday, barn burner. The Nationals were off to a huge lead, 12-2, powered by a pair of Dylan Cruz home runs. Man, did he need a trip to Coors. And 4 RBI. James Wood hit a Oppo homer. Doesn't count, though, because he didn't pull it. And then Mackenzie Gore pitched 6 strong innings, allowing 2 runs and striking out 13. Struck out 13 at Coors. The Rockies mounted a ridiculous comeback, though. An 8-run 7th inning highlighted by Jordan Beck's bases-clearing triple made this thing close. But despite the rally, Nationals closer Kyle Finnegan came on and struck out Beck with the tying run on third base in the 9th. Nationals win 12-11 in a thriller. First game of the doubleheader on Sunday. Nationals win 3-2 over the Rockies. Jake Irvin, strong performance. Struck out 9 over 6 1/3 while only allowing 3 hits. The Nationals scored all 3 runs in the second inning, capitalizing on 2 throwing errors by Rockies catcher Braxton Fulford. Who is that?
Never heard of
Who's
him.
Braxton Fulford? The Rockies responded with Solo home runs from Zach Veen and Fulford. Fuck me. But their comeback did come up short. That was a 3-2 win by the Nationals. And then checking in now, this is like the lowest scoring. I know it's cold. This is like the lowest scoring series in maybe Coors Field history. It's 1-0 in the middle of the fourth right now between Rockies and Nationals. The Nationals are winning. It's a Brad Lord start, no earned through 3.
Hell yeah.
Senzatella on the other side, 1 earned through 4. Yeah, we'll see how this one finishes. The Rockies trying to improve if they can come back here and fend off falling to 3-18. They fired their hitting coach though, so that might change things.
Brought in Clint Hurdle. That's going to change everything.
Yeah, Clint Hurdle was just going to say like, just grip the bat and swing. Like, what the hell is going to be the strategy there? I'm really interested.
Shout out Zach Veen, crushed his first career home run. Hell yeah,
he needed it. He was like off to a putrid start as well. So hopefully Veen gets going there a little bit. But and Dolander, like I understand he's pitching at Coors, makes it tough, but 4 homers, 9 runs, 6 earned. Chase Dolander through his first 3 big league starts, albeit 2 of the 3 were at Coors and 1 was on the road against the Padres, where he was actually good. He has given up 8 home runs. 8. He's got to figure out how to keep the ball in the yard at Coors. So does everybody. It's really hard. I would still come away encouraged that he went 5 2/3 of 2-run ball, 2 walks, 7 Ks at San Diego. The kid's going to have to learn how to pitch at Coors. Like, be patient. It's got to be bizarre for him to learn to throw there.
I don't care about what he's doing at Coors. That's just tough. I totally understand that. One thing that I am concerned with, though, and I'm curious if you know the answer to this, did he struggle against lefties in the minors? Because he's thrown 7 innings total against lefties. That's the amount of like total batters he's faced. 5 homers, 12 hits. He's getting destroyed.
That's interesting.
By left-handed hitting. I didn't know if that was a problem in the minors and it's carrying over, or if that's just random.
It wasn't a problem, but he was definitely better against righties. Like the contact rates were just like he was blowing up righties. And then righties hit 194 last year, lefties hit 236. But it's definitely a theme, and it might be shining through a little bit more at the highest level.
One quick takeaway. Mackenzie Gore, I think, has the best collection of off-speed breaking balls, secondaries, in Major League Baseball. His curveball is diabolical. -4-degree launch angle, which means everything is just hitting straight into the ground, or they're swinging and missing. 54% whiff rate. The slider is awesome. Opponents are hitting 188 against it. 48% whiff rate. The changeup is dropping off the table. He's throwing it all to right-handed bats. They can't touch it. 42.9% whiff rate. And then the cutter he throws to for fun again against right-handed bats. Almost a 60% whiff rate. No hits allowed. His fastball is still a little bit of a work in progress.
Yeah.
I know opponents are hitting 326 against it. It's not the best fastball in the world. It's pretty straight. But these breaking balls, these off-speed pitches, nobody has a chance against him. He's got a 37% strikeout rate.
Yeah, already 2 outings this year with 13 strikeouts. And one was against the Phillies, and another one's at Coors.
Yeah.
Like, shout out Mackenzie Gore. Jack's agendas are live right now.
Mize Gore, he's on top of the world.
Yeah. Someone needs to knock him down a peg.
Yeah.
Friday, we had Astros Padres final series here. This was like, speaking of agendas, great for my agenda. Astros win 6-4 because Cam Smith led the way with 2 home runs and 4 RBI. His 3-run homer in the second inning turned a 1-0 deficit into a lead. Then he added a solo shot in the fourth. Luis Arias contributed a 2-run homer for the Padres in the 7th, narrowing the gap, but Jake Meyers' RBI single in the 8th provided insurance for Houston. And Ryan Gusto earned the win. Josh Hader secured his 5th save. Gusto, 5 innings, 9 hits, 2 runs, no walks, 2 Ks. Kyle Hart, he gets bludgeoned, man. 5 innings, 10 hits, 5 earned, no walks, 2 Ks. Saturday, Astros 3, Padres 2. This was another really fun game, though, really close. Astros clinched the series with a 3-2 comeback win. Tatis Jr. hit his 7th homer of the season already in the 3rd inning. Manny Machado added an RBI double in the 5th, giving the Padres a 2-0 lead. Christian Walker tied the game with a 2-run homer in the 6th, and Isaac Paredes delivered the go-ahead RBI in the 7th. Taylor Scott earned the win in relief, and Josh Hader continues to put together some good outings now. Earned the save, his 6th of the season. Michael King was good. 5 2/3, 2 earned, 2 walks, 7 Ks. Wesneski was solid on the other side of things, too, for the Astros. 5 innings, 2 earned, 1 walk, and 4 Ks. Another game that is still in progress and a great one on ESPN right now. I believe it's a Sunday Night Baseball game. It's 2-2 in the top of the 6th. Unfortunately, collision at first base. Luis Arias had to be carted off the field. They stabilized his neck and everything, but apparently he's alert. Seems like he's okay, but I'm sure there'll be more updates out by the time you're listening to this episode, but hopefully Luis Arias is okay. That was definitely a scary moment there. Dylan Cease versus Framber Valdez. Really, really fun matchup. Both are still in the game as we're talking about this. 5 innings of 2 earned so far for Cease. 5 innings of 2 earned so far for Framber. It's going to be a fun finish here, and we'll watch the end when we're done recording.
My takeaway is Fernando Tatis Jr. should be headlining the National League MVP conversation.
Yes.
7 homers, 7 steals already. He's got an OPS over 1,100, but he's doing that Acuna thing where he says, I'm just not going to punch out. I'm going to hit everything with authority. His strikeout rate in 2024, 21.9%, still above league average. Now he's striking out 11.2% of the time. Now I know it's early, but again, this is Fernando Tatis Jr., and he looks fantastic. If he can rock a strikeout rate at 15%, walk rate at 12, while hitting for this much power, stealing this many bases, I mean, we're looking at a potential 40-40 season for a guy hitting above 300 on one of the best teams in baseball. Even if Shohei comes back to pitch, this is going to be a 2-man race for MVP.
And with Tatis playing at this level, we haven't seen Tatis playing at this level and Merrill is going to come back and be healthy. And now you've got co-stars here, like superstars leading that team. It's a legit ball club here. They called up Tirso Ornelas. I'm pumped about that. Marlins called up Agustin Ramirez. Pumped about that. So some more young talent on the way, but I forgot to mention that Marlins adding an exciting backstop here, a guy that's a top 50 prospect for us at Just Baseball. Big power, was the headliner in the Jazz Chisholm trade. But I think Tirso Ornelas is one of the more underrated prospects in baseball. He's going to get an opportunity to fill in that outfield, hits the ball really hard. And I think it could be a sneaky addition here for the Padres. So I'm believing in the Padres right now. And I know the Astros, they could sweep here, depending on how the third game goes. Credit to the Astros, just playing a really good series. And they're showing you that even if you're not as scared of them, like you mentioned, Peter, I don't think you were ever saying that they're going to disappear. This is a team that's going to hang around. You're just not scared of them. And I get it. I'm not scared of them either. But damn, man, they're never going to suck. It's just, even when the weakest team, it seems like perception-wise, like probably the weakest Astros team we've seen in a handful of years, they're still going to be hanging around.
And that's what I meant. I even, talked about it on the show. I was like, I'm not scared of the Astros anymore. I think they win 85 games. That's what I mean.
That's when you know they're a ridiculous franchise and they're in a great spot.
I just don't fear them like the dynasty Astros who are going to come destroy you kind of no matter what. Now I'm like, all right, any team could beat them on any given day. With that said, they can beat any team on any given day too. I mean, they're still the Astros and they're still good.
Yeah,
all I can think about is Tatis dropping a strikeout rate to 11.2%. I mean, if that's real, this is going to be an all-time season from him.
Yep. And it's just healthy and slight mechanical adjustment, and he looks like he is ready to go. Timeout. Interrupt this program because I am an idiot and I skipped the Mariners and the Blue Jays here and didn't realize until well after we were recording. So real quick, we're going to do a solo recap of the Blue Jays and Mariners series. Game 1, Friday. Blue Jays win 3-1 over the Mariners. Toronto secured that win off of the back of another fantastic outing from Bowden Francis. He allowed 1 run over 6 innings, striking out 5. How about my king, Addison Barger, showcasing the defensive prowess, ridiculous arm, one of the best arms in baseball, 3 outfield assists. Anthony Santander's sac fly in the first, and Alan Rodin's sac fly in the second was really all the Jays needed, but they added another run with an Alejandro Kirk RBI single later. That was 3 runs there. The Mariners' only run came from a Rowdy Tellez solo homer. He had a great series, more on him. Brian Wu was solid, 7 innings. He gave up the 3 earned, but the Mariners only scoring 1. It's going to be hard to win ball games that way. But they bounce back in game two. Mariners win 8-4 in 12 innings. You might say, well, whoa, that's a big gap for extra innings. Well, we'll get there. Blue Jays took an early lead, scoring in the first and third innings. Seattle responded in the fifth with a two-run double by Cal Raleigh, who also raked in this series. Toronto regained the lead in the bottom of the fifth, but Williamson's solo home run in the seventh tied the game, and that was Ben Williamson's first home run of his big league career. Both teams were held scoreless through the ninth, leading to extra innings, and after a scoreless 10th and 11th, Seattle had a 5-run 12th inning, highlighted by Randy Arozarena's RBI single and a Rowdy Tellez grand slam. Back to Ben Williamson, his first career home run. Really exciting for him. He's a glove first infielder, but some sneaky pop and has developed nicely as a bat. Logan Gilbert struck out 9 over 4 2/3 innings, while Andres Munoz earned the win with a scoreless 11th inning. Weird kind of tempers flaring moment in the fourth inning. A verbal exchange between Cal Raleigh and Jose Barrios led to benches clearing. Situation didn't really escalate further. No ejections were made. Apparently, I believe Barrios thought that Raleigh was relaying signs from second base, kind of telling the hitters what was coming. And I think there was some potential validity to that. And Cal Raleigh got his revenge, though, in game three. The Mariners win 8-3 over the Jays on Sunday. They clinched the series with that win. Dylan Moore initiated the scoring with a leadoff homer, followed by Cal Raleigh's two-run shot. He has just been red hot of late. Randy Arozarena and Mitch Garver contributed with a two-run single and an RBI single, respectively. Rowdy Tellez added a two-run homer in the seventh, marking his third consecutive game with a long ball. Luis Castillo earned the win despite allowing 10 hits over 5 innings. With this series win, the Mariners improved to a 12-10 record, while the Blue Jays fell to 12-10. The Mariners have now won 4 consecutive series. The offense has been coming alive. The bullpen has been solid as well. Sorry for no additional thoughts from Peter, because this was a solo mission. I just wanted to make sure that we did not forget what was actually a pretty fun and heated series. So back to the regular scheduled programming, and thank you for bearing with us here. That's all I got on these series here, and it was a fun weekend in baseball.
That'll do it for this episode of the Just Baseball Show. The best way to support, rate, and review Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your pods, as well as like, subscribe, comment on YouTube. If you want to go get yourself some Just Baseball merch, I'm rocking the hat. Arm's rocking the athletic long sleeve tee. Go get yours in the description below. And of course, our Discord is open, up to almost 600 members in that thing, and it has been so much fun. If you want to join, $10 a month. You can find it in the episode description. For Aram Layton, I am Peter Apple. We will see you on Tuesday and then on Wednesday for a big-time interview with Rays player Cameron Meisner. Can't wait for that interview. So we'll have 5 episodes this week. And with that, thank you, everybody.